Hey everybody, it's Gray, and I'm here to talk about the film I saw earlier this evening called Splice. Before I get to it, three things you should know. First of all, you look behind me, you can see the rest of the room. I've got it actually lit up because, well, what do you know, it's actually somewhat clean. As always in my life, I firmly believe in chaos, but chaos ought to be somewhat compiled into piles, and so we have lots of chaos in nice, neat piles now. Second thing you should know, and you probably noticed this pretty quickly, I am fully clothed. Yeah, the world applauds. My mother is extremely happy, if she's even watching this. Third thing you should know, this is actually my third time to try to do this. First time went terrific, except I sat really close to the monitor and the camera, and so therefore you only got this of me, which you might prefer, but it kind of looked really weak. So I had to redo it, and it went terrible. So this is my third go at it, and if I can just sit back far enough the monitor and do as well as I did the first time, at least I'll enjoy watching myself. So the film was Splice. I didn't know what I was getting into with this film. Thank goodness the trailer got my interest without really telling me anything about what the film was about too much. You get the idea there's some genetic splicing going on, there's some weird creature running around, who knows? I'm very interested though because of the important fact here is that the critics liked this movie by and large. They liked it quite a bit. This is very odd because, first of all, it's kind of a horror science fiction film, or at least that's the way it's marketed. So critics don't really like those kind of movies for the most part. So, this is interesting. Critics are digging it. Second of all, everyone I know who has seen this film hated it. This really gets my interest because if you all know me, you know that I usually have very polarized reactions to films when the critics love it and all my friends hate it. Either I eventually see it and think, oh my gosh, that was terrible, or I think, wow, that was really something. What is wrong with everybody I know? I need to make new friends. Okay, so this got my attention. What was this film? Well, this film, Splice, was terrific. I mean, it was fantastic. This film, if you want to call it a horror film, you can do that, but you have to keep in mind this is the classic sense of horror, which is you're horrified. You're not scared. This isn't a thriller. As a matter of fact, the few elements in this film that try to play it more like a straightforward modern horror film are really the weakest parts of the film. Instead, think more of the classic horror films where you're supposed to be appalled at these strange things happening to nature and also to Cronenberg. Cronenberg's an important touchstone here because it's that body horror. If you've seen any Cronenberg for films, his 80s films in particular, like The Fly, which is probably the one most of you have seen, he deals a lot with the idea of being horrified at the changes to people's bodies and what's happening to them. The idea of nature's going wrong, and it's highly disturbing because of that. And it's odd I say that because that is what you should be warned of first. This film is highly disturbing. And by that, let me just mean highly disturbing. I can't remember the last time I saw a film. It's definitely been at least a good decade, maybe, where there were two different moments in the film where I think it lost half the audience. It went places they just weren't ready to go. And when I say that, no, these are not the violent places. This isn't axes flying across the room and heads getting severed and blood spurting like from a fountain all over the wall. No, we're talking about disturbing in terms of what's happening, realizing what's happening. Not violence. No, not the violence, not the gore. Disturbing. So, regardless of what I'm saying, if you are easily disturbed by films and don't like films that are disturbing, even if for a reason, don't go see this film. I don't want to see you popping up on my Facebook account or something saying, Gray, what in the world were you talking about? This film was highly disturbing. It was sick. I wish I never saw it. Okay, you've been warned. If you feel there's a chance you might feel that way, don't go see this film. If, on the other hand, you don't mind being disturbed for a good reason, go see this film. I mean, if it's not horror in the sense most modern horror films are, and I have to say that because otherwise people think I'm talking about a prostitute. I usually say horror, and I usually slur it together with my wonderful Okie accent, so people think, oh, what's he talking about ladies in the night for? No, horror. It's also not a science fiction film in the way most modern science fiction films are. And by that I mean it's not a space opera. This isn't Star Wars. This isn't Men in Black. I love Empire Strikes Back. Probably not as much as you other guys my age do, but I think it's a really good movie. This isn't that kind of movie, though. This is more, I'd say 2001, but you won't have to think for 2 hours afterwards about what this means. The most recent film I can think of that's like this is Moon from a year or two ago. If you liked Moon, this might be your kind of film. Except I'll say even this goes a little farther than Moon. This is even more creative. There's more ideas flying out left and right. And I mean, Moon was very good. It kind of has a gotcha moment. And if you see that kind of coming, I think it kind of lessens the impact. I saw it coming long before it actually arrived. This doesn't have that gotcha moment. This isn't an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong film. This is a film of ideas. This wants you to think. Not necessarily be as shocked, although you'll be shocked and surprised, but it wants you to think about it too. And it's got all sorts of creative ideas going on. The very fact that the film stars Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley should tell you something's going on here. This isn't Friday the 13th, part 27. This is something much deeper going on. Sarah Polley, great actress, recently made a fantastic, if depressing, directorial debut with the film Away From Her. Very good movie. Adrian Brody, I don't have to tell you who that is. He won the Oscar, apparently surprising everybody but me. I predicted him that year, so I was very happy about that. Not as happy as him. He walked away with the trophy and smooched on Halle Berry there for a while, so, you know, we can't all be Adrian Brody. Plus, I think my girlfriend really has a huge crush on him, which means he may be ahead of me in that sense, too. But these aren't actors who play around with stupid genre films for the most part. And they don't here. This is a very good film. There's another actress, I can't pronounce her name, I don't know how it's said, it's no one you've probably heard of, and I don't want to tell you what role she plays because it kind of gives part of the film away, and I'm trying really hard not to tell you much about the plot, which probably is annoying you, but trust me, if this is your kind of film, you want to walk into this film knowing as little about this film as you possibly can. You want to be surprised. You want to see where it's going to take you and not know about it in advance. Very good film. I would put this up with some of the best from this year. By the best of this year, I'm thinking of films like, we got The Ghost Rider, excellent film. Toy Story 3, very good film for this year. Kick Butt. My parents might be watching this video, so we'll call it Kick Butt. Some of the better films of this year, this hasn't been a very impressive year by and large. The films I just mentioned are all ones I like quite a bit. There's a few more I could round out. I think I've got a top 8 going somewhere on the internet. I haven't seen 10 good enough ones to make a top 10 out of yet. But it's not been a real impressive year so far, which often means the fall makes up for it. So let's hope we got lots of great Oscar films coming up. But this film, it got dumped. A studio dumped it. I think maybe they realized it was far too disturbing and unusual for most audiences. But it's a shame, because this is a high caliber film. This is very well written, very well thought out, well directed, well acted. If a little bit more of a push, maybe more of a niche push toward the sci-fi, the intellectual sci-fi folks, maybe this would have done better. Maybe this would be seen as kind of a minor milestone of this genre, which it really is. It's that good, folks. It's not going to change your life. It's not the best film of the year so far. I probably still have to give that award to The Ghost Rider, Roman Polanski's thriller from earlier this year. But it's very good. It's one of the best science fiction films the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. One of the very best. And if you're someone like me who likes science fiction in theory, but unfortunately finds that 99% of it that's made nowadays is usually crap, you're going to love it. You're going to really enjoy this film. That's pretty much it. This is an experiment. I've never done, to my knowledge, a video film review for the internet before. It's probably going to be a horribly failed experience. This is take 3. I'm not doing a 4th one. So if this is terrible, you'll never see it again. If it's just somewhat terrible, you'll see it, but it might be the last one you see. If you get the chance, if you think you might like it, if you're not easily disturbed, go see Splice. I had to catch it at the Dollar Theater. It's already off first run. If you miss it, and you shouldn't, rent it. Definitely rent it. It would be worth your time if this is your kind of film. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed it more than I enjoyed making it, because it's been kind of frustrating so far. Bye, everybody!